Guys, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome. Please like and subscribe. And a lot of you users again are TV watchers and keep returning. Please subscribe because it does help our channel grow. This week I'm going to be reading some creepy stories from Reddit, and next week we're going to be having the Enfield Poltergeist episode. So it's going to be fun. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into these stories. So, I am on What's the Scariest 100% True Story of Reddit subreddit. And the first one I'm reading, it's actually been deleted by the poster, but I'm going to read it anyway. So, I work the night shift at the gas station, and I have for quite a while at various different locations in the area, with a variety of level of crime activity. I have regulars, of course. I'm a small stature woman, as is my partner that works on the other end of the week. And we have been partners for years. So these regulars often worry about us and keep watch on creepy occurrences when they can. I had a man who worked in the metro an hour away who would stop in every morning for his cigarettes. He never smiled. He seemed friendly, and as I often do, I tried to think of a way I could make him smile one day. It took many months, but I finally pulled it off by having his cigarettes ready at the counter and already scanned ready for him to pay. As he walked in, he smiled and asked, "Do you ever get scared on the night shift? You're a small girl, it's not safe." I said sometimes I did, but we could lock the doors and hide if we needed to, and the state troopers had a station close by, and they came in often to wash their vehicles. I had a good rapport with those police officers. He nodded. Then he told me a story about when he first moved to our country from Eastern Europe with his wife and child back in the 80s, early 90s. He fell asleep at work one night at the gas station. He worked the midnight shift. When he woke up, the phone had been ringing for hours and his manager was shaking him violently, asking if he was all right. He was fine. He said, "What's the problem?" He said he was sorry he fell asleep. His manager screamed that it was fine he fell asleep, to look outside. All of the motor oil was missing, and outside of the place was a mess. The thieves had come in, swiped all the oil, and left him because he slept through the entire thing, and then moved down the road to the next station for an encounter. At that station, the clerk was awake and fought back. So the thieves stabbed him to death and left him to bleed out. When he finished telling me this, he concluded with, "If you ever feel sleepy, just lock the door and do it. It might save your life." I don't work at that station anymore, but I think about that guy all the time and wonder how his grandkids are. And they actually posted a link to the actual 1990 murder of the gas station attendant, so I'll post that below. And then we have a story from Overall Draft 9416. One of my friend's family growing up had a beach house, and I'd get invited every now and then. They had money, and the house was massive. A pretty cool place, too. They even had a full-time maid who had her own flat in the back. One day, they go there for a long weekend, and when they opened the door, the place had been ransacked. It was all a mess, missing TVs, broken furniture, broken stuff. You get the picture. They went to check on the maid and her flat was empty. All her belongings were gone. They called the cops who came over and had a brief look. not interested in what they had to say, and left saying the maid probably had something to do with it. And that's what everybody believed for a week. Until the dad returned the following weekend to try and change the locks, etc. And he brought their dog along with them. Yep, you know it. One of the dogs started digging and they found the maid buried under the backyard, under a tarp they had close to the pool. So the theory now is that whoever came probably knew her and they recognized them and she'd had to go. So this was posted 10 hours ago under the True Scary Stories by Mr_Z_Malice. I think I saw a ghost. When I was around 9 years old, my mum and I were staying at my auntie's house for the night. At the time, my auntie's neighbour's house was abandoned. I didn't know that though. So when I saw a little girl in the window of the house, I thought nothing of it. She was wearing a white dress, looked very pale, and made direct eye contact with me, before calmly walking away from the window. Later, when I told my family about it, they were shocked and explained that nobody had lived in that house for a very long time. About 30 minutes passed, and I had completely forgotten the whole thing. My mum and I were standing at the bottom of the stairs, just about to go upstairs, when suddenly I saw the same little girl. This time at the top of the stairs, inside the house. I froze in shock, and so did my mum. We both saw her at the exact same time, which meant it couldn't have just been my imagination or a hallucination. The girl looked down at us, then casually turned and walked away. Later we checked the house, and there was no signs of anyone. To this day, it still scares me every time I visit my auntie's house. I stay on high alert. Ooh. Well, clearly he doesn't want to bother you because he just kept walking. In this next post is by Don Diego 404 under the same subreddit. I still don't know what we saw that night. I'm not posting this to scare anyone. I just need to put this somewhere because it's stuck in my head for years. If anyone's experienced something similar in the area, I'd love to hear about it. This happened when I was about 18 or 19. It was a summer night, probably late July or early August. It was warm out, so my friends and I had gotten into the habit of driving around late night just to talk. We'd do loops outside the city, the kind of quiet, empty roads that cut through the French countryside. No real destination, just driving and talking, windows cracked and low music. This one night, it was around 1:30 a.m. The road was completely empty, no street lights, no visible houses, just open fields on both sides. We were going slow, about 50 kilometers per hour. I'm still used to miles, I guess. Sorry. Talking about something personal, and then suddenly my friend hit the brakes. He didn't yell or panic, just a sharp, reflexive stop. And there, in the headlights, I saw a man crossing the road. He came out of the field to our left, walked towards one on the right. What immediately struck me was that he was completely naked. His skin was oddly pale, a flat beige, almost like a dull grey. But that's not what struck me. It was the way he moved. He didn't walk like a drunk or someone hurt. It was more like he didn't weigh anything. His steps were slow and floaty, almost like he was forcing his body to move forward. His arms hung loose, his head slightly tilted down. He never turned towards us. No reaction to the light, to the sound, nothing. He crossed slowly and disappeared into the field on the other side. We were silent for a couple of seconds. Then my friend muttered, "Was he naked?" And suddenly, clarity hit us both. We drove back towards the main road, not saying much. I wasn't scared exactly, but I felt a deep unease, a knot in my stomach, like what I saw didn't make sense. Not just the man, but the entire moment. The next day, out of curiosity, we went back in the afternoon. We recognized the spot easily because of the twisted tree by the side of the road. But when we looked around, there was nothing. No trail, no path nearby. Just two big fields and the same quiet road cutting through. I have no rational explanation for what I saw that night, but I know what I saw, and I know it wasn't normal. Somebody asked, "That definitely would be creepy. Did you see a face?" And OP wrote, "No. That part made it worse. He never looked at us. His head was slightly down the whole time. And even when he crossed right in front of the car, nothing. Like we didn't exist." And then we have one posted by I Love to Be Afraid. When I was around 6 years old, I used to see something strange in my room. Every time I woke up, there was this black figure standing in the middle of the room. It didn't have any human features. What really creeped me out was how it looked the first time. It was kind of checkered and holding something that looked like a suitcase. My friend, it looks like you met the Shadow Man. Again, check out my Shadow Man episode. After that, it started looking different. No more checkers, but still not human. It had no fingers, no toes, no palms, no face, just completely black, unmoving figure. As a kid, I wasn't really that scared. I kind of got used to it. I would just look around and wait to see what would happen. Eventually it would disappear, like it broke apart into little dots and faded away. One day it just stopped coming, and I haven't seen it since. This one looks good. It's posted by aggravating_egg1612 under the subreddit of True Scary Stories. I grew up in Colorado, and in 3rd grade we were doing a brief overview of the gold rush. Before talking about rocks, my teacher showed us different towns where mining had occurred, one being the Estes Park. In the lecture, the teacher brought up the Stanley Hotel, talking about how it is one of the first buildings built in the town. This is when I became consumed with the hotel. Something there was calling me. My family took at least one trip every year to the area, and I'd seen the hotel, but we never went up close. Our next trip, I asked my parents about it, and they explained that it was famous for being haunted. They didn't go into any details, as they don't believe in the paranormal. I begged them to take me, but they never did. I had a fleeting understanding of what the hotel was all about until middle school. In middle school, my sister started reading The Shining. What a book for middle schoolers to read. She would tell me about what she had read for the day, and at one point she told me It's based on the Stanley. I lost my mind after finding this out. At that point, I had unlimited internet access and did my own research. I found out what had happened leading to the creation of the book. I would watch The Shining over and over again, imagining that it would be what it would be like to stay at the hotel. At one point in my early teens, I asked my parents about their honeymoon, and they said they stayed in the hotel. I couldn't have been more excited to learn this. I would pester them constantly, asking them what happened when they stayed. Every time they would tell me, it's a normal hotel, it's not haunted. A few years later, when we were in the area, my parents finally decided to tell me about their stay in the Stanley. They, they said they had checked in and checked out within a few hours. When I asked why, they stated they felt like somebody was watching them and they heard strange noises coming from surrounding rooms and the hall. It was weird enough to unsettle them. They left. They insisted that it wasn't ghosts or anything paranormal, just drug addicts and someone playing a prank. Again, I begged them to take me so I could see for myself. They refused. It's not worth the money, they tell me, trying to get me to drop it. For my 21st birthday, my parents surprised me with a 2-night stay and included a haunted tour. The reservation was a few months away, so I prepared. I started watching The Shining over and over and over again, as I'd done previously, planning to play out every scene by myself to scare unsuspected guests. It was probably a week before my reservation when I learned the movie wasn't shot in the hotel, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. When it was finally time, I rushed as fast as I could to the Stanley, playing the scenes in my head, hoping anything would happen while I was there. When I showed up, I was slightly disappointed due to the fact that they were renovated and there was scaffolding all over the main hotel. My disappointment didn't last long. As soon as I walked in the doors, my breath was literally taken away. I audibly gasped, and a man standing by the door acknowledged this by saying, "Yeah, I know, right?" We had a brief talk and I went to check. They put me in room 314, almost directly above the room from the book. I settled in and was pleased to find my room was dingy and off-putting. It was everything I'd hoped. I spent the next few days, if I apologize, I spent the next few hours wandering around, taking photos, hoping I could look back and see a figure hiding in the corners. The hotel felt like a maze, a long dark hallway, a creepy staircase leading to the attic. The strangest part was I never ran into another guest while I was exploring. It felt like I had entered another dimension. When it came to the tour that night, I could barely contain my excitement. The guide gave all the guests a rundown of everything we'd be exploring. Our first stop was the music hall. As soon as we entered the building, the air got heavy, and my attention was pulled to the dark staircase to the basement. The guide took us to the top floor and gave us a history of the music hall, then took us to the main music hall area. The guide took us to the basement and explained a little of the ghosts that reside there, a man and a woman. They were staff of the hotel owners. The guide said that the woman is more active than the man, but the man would occasionally force himself on younger women in the group that he had guided before. We, we were left again to wander in the main area. I was pulled to an antique mirror in the center of the wall. I took many photos of it while I was alone. We then went into the lady's room and were trying to get her to do anything for us. Sadly, nothing happened. We then went to the man's room. The guide was talking about him and I became very uncomfortable. I felt as though I couldn't breathe. Something felt to be hugging me tightly. I couldn't move or speak. I must have turned white. The guide came up to me, put his hands on my shoulder and asked if I felt okay. As soon as his hand touched me, I could breathe again. I can't explain what happened. It could have been excitement or my mind playing tricks on me. The rest of the tour went by without even any event, and when I concluded, I sat in the lobby looking over some of my photos. The man, from when I checked in, was still in the lobby and sat next to me asking about my tour. I explained and found out he was just visiting for the day and was surprised and was supposed to head to Boulder. He was from the south and it had just started to snow and he didn't want to drive down the mountain. I was naive and still feeling very uneasy about my experience, so I invited him to stay in my room for the night. I felt safer with a stranger than with whatever made me feel that way before. He agreed and we stayed up most of the night talking. When we finally decided to sleep, we laid on opposite edges of the bed, facing away from each other. I didn't sleep much that night, and around 5 to 6 a.m. I heard the guy just get up and leave. He didn't come back, so I texted him, thanking him for keeping me company. He responded saying how the whole time he was trying to sleep, I kept rubbing his back and putting my arms around him. I know I didn't do any of that and was freaking out. I couldn't tell if he was joking, but I didn't ask any questions. I slept for most of the day, intent on staying up and watching TV that night. The night went by smoothly, and nothing of note happened. But while I was passing the time, I was looking at my photos I had taken. The one of the mirror struck out to me. I could clearly see faces and what looked like a child sitting in front of my legs, with their hands pressed against the mirror. I told myself it was just an illusion the hotel had made to give people memorable photos of the trip. Months after that I had stayed, I kept having a feeling that something was following me. I had a few unexplained events happen that a couple of my friends had also witnessed on occasion. I think whatever held me in that basement had attached itself to me permanently. I have this overwhelming feeling that something was pulling me to the hotel my whole life. Maybe it started on my parents' honeymoon all those years ago. Ooh, you need to get that handled. Okay, guys, well, don't forget to check in next week for our Enfield Poltergeist episode. We will be playing some of the documentary and discussing it. We've been waiting a little while because we did reach out to them and waited for a response, and so far we haven't had a response to try and speak to them. Maybe one day we'll do an additional video while speaking to them. But please, please, please like and subscribe so we can help this channel grow and bring you better content. And don't forget to check out our Facebook group at Grab Your Brew to find out all about our giveaways. Thank you so much for tuning in again today, and I hope you have an amazing week. Bye.